Hello again, everyone. Today's video will be on circle graphs. Now, this could be categorized in a couple of subjects. This one being social studies, but as you can see, it can be known as a pie graph, which could be categorized as math. So, as many of you who have watched my videos have come to know, I like to use integrated subjects for my videos. So that's what we're going to basically be doing today. I will address this as circle graphs since this is what the instructions say, but I also might call it a pie graph still, since that was what I used to address it as when I was teaching in California. However, when I was teaching in China, I used to call it a circle graph. So, like in many cases, I'm used to saying both. So, if you hear me say both, it's just kind of the way I would teach it when I wasn't teaching in my class, and it's just a habit I'm going to keep. So I'll read the questions out loud, and then we'll look at each pie graph. There it is, and we'll determine what the appropriate answer is, and we'll write it in a complete sentence. So without further delay, let's look at number one now. Before I do number one, I would like to read the directions. The directions say, the circle graphs below show the estimated shares of the world population by region in 2000 and the projected shares in 2050. Use the graphs to answer the questions. So as I had said, we'll look at the circle graph on the left, which is 2000 estimated, and then we'll look at the circle graph on the right, 2050, which is projected. And then we'll look at the questions, and we'll answer in a complete sentence like we always do. So don't forget to put a capital at the beginning and a period at the end. And now let's look at number one. Number one says, in 2000, which region had the largest population? If you want to demonstrate you're a fluent reader, these questions are really good because you've got to really pay attention to what it's asking. It says in 2000, so we're going to be looking at the pie graph on the left side because that's 2000. And then it's asking us which region had the largest population. So looking at the pie chart here, they want to know who has the largest population. Well, that's pretty obvious here. Looking at the circle graph, you can see who the biggest chunk belongs to. And the answer there says, well, the answer that it's showing us here is Asia has the largest population at 59.5%. So there's a few ways you can answer this, and I'm just going to answer it in just the way I would like to, and as long as it's addressing the answer. So I would say is the way I would answer it would be Asia had the largest population. Number two says in 2000, what percentage of the world's population lived in South America? So again, it's talking about 2000. So we're going to be looking at the circle graph on the left side. And now we want to know what the percentage of the population is in South America. So we can see there are several names of the regions of the world here. And I'm going to find South America. There it is. And the percentage South America shows is 8.6%. So this being a complete sentence, there are always several ways to write this, and it's going to be your call. So long as you're answering the question of what percentage of the world's population lived in South America, as long as you give the percentage, it should be okay. So the way I would answer it would be 8.6% of the world's population lived in South America. Number three, in 2000, what percentage of the world's population lived in Europe and Russia? So again, looking at the 2000 circle graph, we want to see what was the world's population, the percentage, that is, of the world's population that lived in Europe and Russia? So looking at the circle graph, I'm going to find Europe and Russia on it, and here it is. And the percentage shows 13.5%. So just like you've been doing, it's your decision how you want to answer it. So long as you're giving the percentage and it's in a complete sentence, it'll be okay. So the way I would answer it would be 13.5% of the world's population lived in Europe and Russia. Number 4, by 2050, which region will have the greatest increase in its share of the world population? So now we're looking at the pie graph on the right, because it's saying by 2050. So you're going to be looking at the 2050 circle graph, which is on the right side. So which region will have the greatest increase in its share of the world population? So basically, who made the biggest jump from 2000 to 2050? So as we're looking, basically which portion of the graph grew, and we can see that it's Africa here at 21.7%. So the way I would answer it would be Africa will have the greatest increase. Now, some of you might be disputing the fact that both the 2000 and the 2050 circle graph look like the same, like the way they're cut, the way they're divided. They don't look like they've changed. So some might be saying, well, no, how do you know that? It looks the same. You've got to look at the numbers, okay? You got to look at the numbers, and you got to determine which country had the greatest increase from the 2000 circle graph to 2050 circle graph. And if you look at the numbers, it clearly shows that Africa had the biggest jump in the population. So that's how I got the answer. So if you're going to argue that the cut or the way that it's divided, the pie chart looks the same, don't. You've got to look at the numbers. And this is what I mean by demonstrating your comprehension skills. Let's look at number 5 now. Number 5 says, in 2050, what percentage of the world's population will live in North America? So looking at the 2050 pie chart, we're going to find North America, and we're going to look at what the percentage is for North America in 2050, and here it is. It says that it's 4.7%. That's the projection in 2050. So the way I would answer it would be 4.7% of the world's population will live in North America. Number 6, by 2050, which region's shares of the world population will decrease? So which region will shrink over the from 2000 to 2050? So again, we're going to be looking at the 2000 pie chart, and we're going to be looking at the numbers, and then we'll be looking at the 2050 numbers and see which region decrease. And if you look carefully, there are several regions that will decrease. You've got Asia that will decrease. You've got Europe and Russia that will decrease. And you've got North America that will decrease. So again, if you demonstrate you're a proficient reader, you know that the question is asking for which regions. That means there will be more than one answer. So don't forget to answer the question in its entirety. Here are the bonus questions. that I had put at the beginning of the title of the video. And it's going to be using the same graph that we just did, only now I have a different set of questions to do. And it'll be very similar to what we just did, but not exact as always. And all I ask is that when you give the answer, please do it in a complete sentence, like I had just demonstrated with the 6 examples here. So let me go through the 4 questions really quick, and then I'll conclude the video. So number 1 says, in 2000, which region had the second largest population? Number 2, in 2000, what percentage of the world's population lived in Africa? Number 3, by 2050, which region will have the smallest increase in its share of the world population? And number 4, by 2050, what percentage of the world's population will live in Europe and Russia? So just take a look at the 2 circle graphs that are up here. They're the exact same ones that I did for the other 6 questions, and just answer them in a complete sentence like you just saw. Turn it in to me, and I would be happy to make a video to show the type of answers that you've given and the way you format and write your sentences. So hopefully I'll get some feedback, and I would love to make a video about it. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you once again for joining in today's lesson. Please message me through Facebook Messenger, or you can email me at jollyformore@gmail.com to learn more about my online tutorial service. Please leave a comment down below. If you know someone interested in hiring an online tutor, share this video. And if you would like to get a bell notification for all my newest videos, please subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you again in my next video. And until then, please be safe out there. Have a great day.